What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Culture 316. I'm one of your co-hosts and producers, Jordan Nahisi.
And I am your other co-host, Mo. What is up, people?
That's Mo, aka my co-host and friend. But I just want thank you guys so much for tuning back into the show. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify podcast, be sure to give this show 5 stars. Be sure to subscribe. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to also like, comment, and subscribe. We really, really appreciate the support and the outpouring you guys have been giving us. We took off a week last week. A lot of stuff was going on, but we're back. Also, this Saturday, obviously, it's the Royal Rumble. And of course, there will be a 316 space. So 15 minutes before showtime, head on over to Twitter at Culture316, and we can build community and talk about all the things and the stuff, because a lot has been happening in wrestling this week. So I'm going to kick this off. With obviously the biggest blockbuster news of the week. It was announced earlier this week that WWE Raw has found a new home in Netflix. That's right. It seems as if they have inked a $5 billion deal slated for 10 years. The deal is valued at approximately $500 million per year. This will be the home of Monday Night Raw in the United States. It also will serve as the home for WWE's premium live events for territories outside of the United States. So UK, Germany, all those guys will be getting WWE PLEs via Netflix. Now, an interesting filing that was released, that was a very, very key detail about this deal, is that the deal, even though it is for 10 years, after 5 years, Netflix has the option to either cancel the deal or renew the deal. So this could be a 5-year deal. This could be a 10-year deal. This could also be a 15 to 20-year deal. But nevertheless, it's a massive deal. Obviously, is a big increase from the $265 million that they are receiving from the USA Network for Monday Night Raw. But without further ado, I want to know, Mo, how do you feel about this move and about this deal?
I think this is pretty amazing for them, just because I know, like, maybe 2 weeks ago we was discussing, like, what if they use Amazon and how,
Yeah,
like, we have pros and cons for it. But like Netflix is such an easier transition because, like, who doesn't have a Netflix account, or who isn't borrowing someone else's Netflix account?
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's quite an easy transition. The only con I could possibly think about is, does this mean they're gonna get on watchwrestling.com's ass? Does that mean that's kind of where I've been getting some of my playbacks for pay-per-views and stuff like that? But you mentioned that it's for outside territories and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. So that's the only business that they're currently hurting. I wonder if they're gonna put a paywall or something behind those websites now that you have this
Yeah.
on Netflix. So you can't just tell me they're going to go in with Netflix and those other websites won't be affected. But I think it's pretty awesome, and I think it works mainly because I know a lot of people that just don't have cable anymore. It's just not regular. Like growing up, yeah, everyone had cable.
Right.
Team Optim over here. But I noticed that over time, a lot of people are just cool with just having Hulu or having Netflix, and Netflix is obviously the more popular one. So I think it's a huge deal. And I don't see how it could possibly fail, because WWE is like knocking it out the park currently with what they got going on, and I actually really do feel like people are going to tune in, adults and kids, likewise, because kids even know how to like operate through like Netflix and stuff like that. So yeah,
Absolutely.
good for them. Honestly, good for them. What do you think about it, Jordan?
I think it's phenomenal. Obviously, I don't mean to say that I told y'all so, but I told y'all so. As far as WWE going with a streaming service, I feel like this is the way of the future for a lot of sport related companies. A couple of interesting statistics. One of the things that I think added to the fuel, the fire of this particular case is the NFL The NFL playoffs are happening right now, and they had their wild card game on NBC's Peacock, which averaged about 23 million viewers. Now, when we hear that number, that's a number that we really only think of when we think about cable in like the 90s or even the early 2000s. So the fact that they were
Yeah.
able to get those type of numbers on a streaming platform shows you that the momentum is shifting. And I believe that a majority of people, like you said, aren't really on cable like that. They're really streaming and they're consuming content through these streaming services. Another thing to note, because I had to do the research, another thing to note is that as of the third quarter of 2023, Netflix has 247.2 million paid subscribers, which means that their reach with those amount of subscribers is going to go a lot further than probably what it was on Peacock. I think Peacock has something like 77 uh, active or 77 million paid subscribers. So we're going to see a very, very big uptick in reach. But I think this is an amazing deal. Obviously, I think WWE is kind of leading the charge into the future. They kind of have their programming set for 2025 or and beyond, because now not only is Netflix, not only is not NXT, not only is Monday Night Raw headed to Netflix, but we also know that NXT is headed to the CW. We also know that SmackDown is headed to the USA Network. So WWE's locked in. They got their media rights situation settled. Also, I think this is great because it also sets the table for AEW. We talked previously about WWE and Warner Brothers potentially having a deal, but now that this Netflix deal is in place, WWE's deals are set. They're out the way. And I also believe that if WWE is commanding anywhere between 400 to $500 million a year for Monday Night Raw, I think that AEW can probably ask for a bigger number as well. I can see them getting 200 million for AEW Dynamite, and I think that that can position AEW to be profitable, uh, for this year and beyond. So I'm very, very eager to see what comes of this on the AEW side. But I think that WWE has their table set, and this deal is just historic in so many ways. But we want to know how you guys feel about this historic, groundbreaking deal. Be sure to leave a comment below and let us know how you feel. But we're moving on because, in addition to the fact that WWE is headed to Netflix, also I forgot to mention that Netflix will be developing some documentaries around WWE characters, kind of similar to how A&E was doing. So that's also pretty exciting. So, but in addition to that, finally, The Rock has come back, but this time as a part of the board of directors, because The Rock is now officially a part of TKO's board of directors. And in addition to that, he has acquired the trademark The Rock. This is huge. In my opinion, this is probably just as big as WWE signing this new deal. And I'll explain why a little bit later. But I want to know, Mo, how do you feel about The Rock finally owning The Rock?
I think he's probably one of the only few wrestlers that like could pull that off. Like he's like the biggest household name they ever had. Like he's quite literally bigger than the company. The only other person I feel like is just as big. Well, maybe not just as big. That's a lie. But like feels like they're bigger than WWE at times is like Brock Lesnar. Just because like the
Mm,
amount of pull and control that he be having in his position, but like everyone and their mama knows The Rock. Whether you watch wrestling, whether you didn't watch wrestling, your parents used to watch wrestling, whatever. Like everyone knows him, and he brings so much value, and he's such a big businessman. I just learned actually through talking to somebody else today. 'Cause I was I was questioning. This is so off topic. I was questioning like his relationship with like Simone Johnson's like mom, and I didn't realize they
yeah.
have a business relationship too with 7 Bucks. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like a film production company, and they're just like business buddies for like that and with like the United Football League. Like The Rock just be doing a lot of business. Like he brings
Yeah.
a lot of value back to WWE. They're gonna be like forever like life business partners or whatever. Um like I don't know. I could see him totally like doing something within WWE if he cares to at some point. Maybe if he
Mm.
wants to tone down and collect the easy check, like this is the easy check for him. I could totally see him working behind the scenes at some point and maybe taking over. But does he have a stock in WWE? or was
I
like,
don't
or
know.
was
I don't know if he owns any equity, but I just know that he's on their board of directors.
at some point
Usually
he
those
will. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say usually those deals when you become a board of directors, it's not always guaranteed, but usually it comes with some form of equity. So who knows?
That's
We
what
don't
that's
know.
he's
We don't
going
know.
there.
Yeah,
He's going there. It's just like he is money. Like you can't think of like you can't see Dwayne the Rock Johnson and not think about WWE. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just the
absolutely.
perfect face for it. He's a great businessman. And honestly, this is pretty extraordinary and awesome for him that he could take his name. I mean, we've been calling him Dwayne the Rock Johnson anyways. But like now he really could just walk around and be like, yeah, I'm the Rock. Like he could be like just finishing a film or doing whatever and be like, yeah, I'm the Rock. Like, that's pretty awesome, so good for him, but I know you have a lot more to elaborate on TKO because you understand that a little bit more than me, so let the audience know.
I'm not gonna elaborate too much more, but the reason why The Rock owning the Rock trademark is such a big deal is because The Rock, in and of itself, the term, the moniker, the character was the intellectual property of WWE for so long. And because they own that trademark, it means that they were getting a cut of merchandise. They were getting a cut of everything that was relating to The Rock. And because The Rock is bigger than wrestling, that means that WWE was getting a cut of things that were beyond wrestling, right? The Rock has his own line with Under Armour that's labeled Project Rock. I would assume that WWE was also getting a cut of that, right? When he was doing movies, anytime they said, Dwayne the Rock Johnson is on this movie, they're getting a cut of it. Similar to kind of what John Cena does now with his movies. WWE gets a cut of that because John Cena is considered the character. I remember the doo 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 man, and that's why what you did was so funny. But I think that this is so significant because this is a guy who came up in pro wrestling, who went through the ranks, went mainstream, came back, and got his character and got his moniker and got his trademark. And I think that that's going to be very, very valuable for him now and in the future because, like you said, The Rock is bigger than wrestling. This man is,
Mhm.
he is one of the owners of the UFL. He has Seven Bucks Productions. He also has Terramana. Like
Oh, I
he has
forgot.
his hand is in so
I can
many
never
things.
forget Terramana after, that one rap verse.
But when he on the end of what was it? I forgot the name of the song, but it was a song
Face
with Tech
Off.
Nine. Yes.
Face
Oh my
Off.
God. This man really did the verse and then in the music video took a bottle of Terramana and just drank it like it was water and was like one take. And I'm like, that's a man. That's a man. That's a man. How you just how you just kill a bottle of tequila and don't flinch? I'm like, this either it was chest day or something because there's no reason why you should be drinking Terramana like it's water. Anyway, back to business before we get super sidetracked. But I think this is going to just be really, really big for him. The Rock, obviously, like I said earlier, is bigger than wrestling. And I think that this move is going to be super profitable for the boys. So I'm looking forward to it. But I want to know what you guys think. How do you feel about The Rock owning the Rock trademark? Let us know in the comments below. So, but we're moving on from that as we're talking about WWE, right? We got some pretty significant news this past week that Kazuchika Okada is not only leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling, but it is rumored that he is headed to the WWE. I'm saying rumored because obviously he's still a free agent. That's up in the air. He could very potentially go to AEW, but rumors and reports are speculating that he is WWE bound and that if he were to be WWE bound, he would be in NXT. I wanted to know, how do you feel about this? Number one, Okada being bound to WWE, and number two, potentially him going to NXT.
Um, I feel like him going to WWE feels like a rightful home because I feel like to go from New Japan to AEW just feels like a downgrade to me. Like they're not a bad company. They're definitely, a work in progress as is any company, but it's just that like if you're like the John Cena of one of the other biggest wrestling companies in the world, why would you not want to like as your own go into the most well-known company ever and have everybody know your name, especially when you know the person who's running the show has been wanting you for how many years, and you know that
Mm-hmm.
if you go in, you have pull on how you're going to be booked, and you're going to be more or less treated like a king. Now, I understand why some people are like apprehensive about it just because there has been some outsiders that they signed and they kind of faded into the background and were more or less forgotten or treated like jokes. But I just feel like with the obsession Triple H has had with obtaining Okada, like it's like I'm very surprised that they wouldn't just expedite him to the main roster.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Didn't they do that with like AJ Styles? Like he just kind of
Yes,
appeared
they
like on
did.
the main roster.
Yes, they
Right.
did.
So that's the type of treatment that I would expect. But there is a lot that he could do in NXT. They have to me, like I think out of all the brands that like I enjoy watching, I actually love watching NXT the most currently, because like everyone's like very talented, but like they're like the most talented crop I feel like that they acquired, at least in the last couple of years, where I
Mm-hmm.
watch them get better like every single week, and like you could really learn a lot with Okada, and that's a chance to bring in a lot of ratings to that show, even though they're doing pretty well right now in NXT. Personally, me though, I would just push him to the main roster. But he could play with a lot of people. They got Braun over there, they
Pause.
got Trick, they got Mello. Uh
Pause.
what?
Pause.
What?
He could play with a lot of people. Hey, yo.
What? Bless.
Whoo, Jesus.
Jordan's gonna be on my ass today. But my biggest thing is that I want to see Okada main event on a night two, biggest stage in the mall. I want and like a 10-minute long entrance that is just like obsessive with the amount of Okada dollars. I want Okada dollars from the moment he comes out till he comes to the ring, to the point where the whole aisle is just flooded in Okada dollars.
Oh, Bucks.
Oh, bucks.
Oh,
Yes.
Bucks.
Yes, yes. Um, so I just feel like it makes sense. Like I know some people are saying he might go to AEW, but it's just like why? He kind of already made his appearance. He's not gonna feel as special. I feel like if Hunter acquires Okada, it's like what else can he do, bro? Like
Mm-hmm.
that company's gonna be practically unbeatable. Who else can AEW acquire to like shift the momentum? You got CM Punk, you got Jade, you would have got Okada. We're still worrying about if they got Mercedes or not. Like WWE is going to be untouchable yet again,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be like the land of, I guess, where, up and coming indie wrestlers are going to want to shift to out of the two. I mean, they could still go to AEW and then transition over to WWE, but it's just like out of the two, it's just like where do I want to be where it's really popping right now. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's a great move if he's in fact going to WWE. What do you think about him going to WWE and him going to NXT allegedly?
So, first of all, if this is true, we Hunter is batting 1,000 if this is true. Because to be able to secure Cody, Jade Cargill, and Kazuchika Okada within a calendar year, bro is collecting Infinity Stones, essentially.
Yep.
And it just kind of continues this trend of WWE making money moves between Cody and Jade and TKO buying WWE and The Rock joining the board of directors. There's a lot going on, and I feel like Hunter has a lot to do with it. So I think that we have to credit him.
Word,
Number
because
one, number
Vince would
Vince
not
would
have
never.
pulled this off.
I don't think so either. But I think it also speaks now. Well, before I do that,
Yeah.
as far as him being on NXT, I actually don't mind that because to be completely honest, the last time Hunter brought in a big name from New Japan Pro Wrestling into NXT was Shinsuke Nakamura. And bro cooked in NXT. Now, granted, it was a little bit of a different crop. You had Finn Balor, you had Sami
Yeah.
Zayn, you had a bunch of different guys, but Okada versus Ilya Dragunov? Okada versus Dragon Lee, Okada versus Trick, Okada versus Mello, Okada versus like he can cook. He can cook. And I feel like part of the appeal, if Okada was to appear in WWE, is that it's new and it's fresh for him and it's creative for him. We know that he's going to go to the main roster and we're going to see him and Finn. We're going to see him and AJ. We're going to see him and Shinsuke. We're going to see all that. Those things are a given. But I feel like if Okada wants to do some new, fresh stuff, I feel like him going down to NXT wouldn't necessarily be the worst idea, considering that Sean is huntering. I mean, Sean is huntering. Considering that Sean
Sean
is heading up,
Hunter.
considering that Sean is heading up creative, and he's been cooking down there. So I honestly wouldn't mind seeing that at all. But as far as Okada coming to WWE, that would be nuts. And I think that it kind of shows kind of the progression of WWE in the past 2 to 3 years to be able to attain a talent like him. So that'll be good on them. But I want to know how everybody feels. Do you think that Okada is WWE bound? Do you believe that he should go to the main roster? Do you think he should go to NXT? Let us know in the comments below. But we are moving on. Because speaking of WWE, another big WWE announcement, because I think all this stuff happened on one day. The covers for WWE 2K24 has been released along with a release date. I believe it is March 5th. On one cover, we have the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. On the standard edition, on the deluxe edition, we have Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley sharing the cover of the deluxe edition. In addition to those two covers, we have a 40 years of WrestleMania version featuring 21 different matches across 21 of some of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history that you can now play through. WWE 2K is also bringing back casket matches, ambulance matches, features backstage, which are some features of some pretty well known WWE games such as Here Comes the Pain
Yes.
and SmackDown versus Raw. So I want to know, based on the information that we've received about WWE 2K24, how are you feeling? Are you excited? Are you eager? Is this a game that you want to buy?
I harassed my boyfriend to pre-order it, so I'm definitely getting it, and we definitely playing, and we definitely on Twitch, people. We would definitely gonna be on Twitch playing against one another because I am hype. And the fact that we got Cody Rhodes and Bianca on the front, we are eating good for Black History Month. Yes, yes. Um, I'm super excited for it. I actually like the choices that we went with. Just because even though Cody didn't like get any gold, I feel like he was the highlight of going into 2023. With his whole build. Actually, what? Actually, no. Yeah, I feel like he was the highlight with his whole beef with Seth Rollins up and through to the Royal Rumble, up and through to like his Mania moment, even like though he kind of dipped with like the way he's being booked and stuff like that. He's always kind
Mm.
of been important in the loop. So I just feel like if I was the person developing the game, I was going off of back then, not so much right now where it's the exact moment. Then yeah, Cody makes sense if you're gonna choose any of the males that we didn't already see. So shout out to Cody. I love you some Cody Luther Rhodes. Per. Bianca is a no-brainer just because like I mean, I would have to see a whole list of accolades, but I feel like she's like the most decorated woman that we have in such a small amount of time. Like she's doing stuff that like having a TV show, and we're gonna get into that. Having a
Yeah,
TV
yeah.
show, she had both belts. She won the Royal Rumble. The Mania entrances, just she's done so much in like such a small amount of time. The way they book her like a superhero, it's just like, why would you not? Why would you not have her on the front? She's been doing it big and she's been working like nonstop. And then Rhea Ripley, at first I was a little bit annoyed that she was sharing a cover with Bianca, but then we had a little chat about it in the group chat or whatnot. Rhea has, as Jordan put it, a cult like fan base. And once he put it like that, I was like, honestly, And it's rooted in the sex appeal specifically, is what you said. And when I thought about it from that perspective, I was just like, all right, that makes a lot of sense because you're thinking about all demographics that are going to be buying this game. Putting Rhea on the front, it makes me think of like when I was a kid, and my favorite game, y'all know, is like directing too. Trish was on both covers for 1 and 2, and I think no. Trish was on number 1. Stacy Keibler was on number 2, and Stacy Keibler was like never like a champion or none of that shit. But they chose Stacy Keibler on the second one for a reason. They put Trish on the left side for the first game for a reason, because sex sells. So maybe she's not as decorated as Bianca in that sense, but if you're thinking smart on what's gonna like fly off the shelves, people are gonna see Rhea and think that's a really interesting look and want to go with her. And I can't blame people because I mean she's an attractive looking woman, as is Bianca. Bianca's fire. But I'm super excited for this game. I'm definitely gonna be playing it. I definitely want to stream it, if anything. So be on the lookout for that. But Jordan, what do you think about the cover? Anything that you heard about the game? Were you hyped?
I'm super excited about this game. I feel like they chose the absolute right people to be on the covers. Cody Rhodes has been
Except
arguably one of
Hogan.
the yeah, they did, yeah. Not even Hogan, Terry. We're calling him Terry, all right? Except for Terry. I agree with everyone who is on all the covers of WWE 2K24. If we're being completely honest, from the time that Cody has come into WWE until now, he has been one of, if not the hottest babyface. Him and Jey Uso, I think, are the hottest baby faces in WWE. So it just makes sense to put Cody on the cover of the standard edition. As far as Bianca and Rhea being kind of splitting up cover duties, that makes sense as well. We all know that Bianca Belair is a star, highly accomplished. I think she's undefeated at Mania at this point. One of the first Black women to main event WrestleMania. Rhea, on the other hand, we look at what she's been able to accomplish in this past year. She has the cult-like following. She has the look. In recent memory, she's really the only woman to lead a predominantly male faction. She's had face-offs with
She
many
is
male
indeed.
wrestlers. She's kind of been on the other side. Like I think Bianca put it correctly. Rhea and Bianca have been climbing up opposite sides of the same mountain. And we see it. We see their collective ascent from when they were in NXT to now being on the main roster and being main eventers. So I just think that it just makes sense that
Mm.
that Bianca and Rhea are on the cover. I'm super excited for all these features. This is the first time I've been excited for a WWE game of this magnitude since like SmackDown versus Raw '04. And I think that the reason why I'm so excited is because of
Oh,
all these
four.
features. '04,
You didn't like
SmackDown
all the
versus
other ones? You talking
that
about,
was the
okay, so
original one. That was the first one, though.
I'm
That was the
saying it
first
stopped
one.
after you like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
No, I got
You
all of
wasn't
them.
hyped
I
for them?
got all. I
Was
was
you
hyped
hyped for
for it,
them?
but remember, before SmackDown versus Raw was on Xbox and SmackDown was on P2. And I had a P2. So this is the first time I had access to the Raw roster on a P2. Now, for all the other games, I was hyped for them, but at the same time, the first time that I heard I could use Triple H on my PS2, I was bugging out. So yes, I
Okay.
was bugging
All
out.
right.
So
We
of
about to
course,
fight. About to
nah,
fight
I
because
think all the
8, 11 have me in a chokehold.
Nah, I think '07, '08 was one of my favorite ones too, because I think that was the first year that they featured ECW. And that's when they
17.
had like the flaming tables
And
and all that and stuff like that.
NGMO.
'07, yep. I remember '07 was the one that had Batista and Cena on the cover. So I remember that one. But
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm super excited for this game. I think it's going to do numbers. And the fact that it's coming out around WrestleMania is just perfect marketing. So, but we want to know how you guys feel about WWE 2K24. Let us know in the comments below how you feel about it. We're going to be moving on because in addition to Bianca Belair being the cover star of WWE 2K24, in the same day it was announced that Love and WWE documenting the lives of Bianca Belair and Montez Ford. It premieres on February 2nd on Hulu. Now, Bianca and Montez have been making the rounds. Last night, they were at the Knicks versus Nets. Well, at this point, by the time this episode releases, a couple nights ago, Montez and and Bianca were at the Knicks versus Nets game. My guy Ty Live had them shooting shirts out the little the shirt gun. They was posted up with Team Hype. Some of them are my guys. Love those guys. But they've been making their rounds doing press. And they look, they pop it out. And I'm super excited for this show premiere. But I want to know how you feel about the debut of this show, and kind of seeing all this happen for Bianca at the same time.
Um, I'm so happy for Bianca. I mean, y'all know I'm a huge Bianca Belair fan. Like, I love that girl since NXT, and I always knew she was destined to be a star in the face of the company. So, like, anything and everything that's happening to her, I'm not remotely shocked about. But her and Montez Ford are like my most favorite authentic wrestling couple because nothing about them seems forced. Like, you could tell he loves her and he cherishes her and he treats her like a queen, and like the energy goes both ways. Like, anytime
Yeah.
there was an event, there's always pictures of him right there, but he don't take
Mm-hmm.
her shine away. He's just right there supporting her. Like, he really loves that woman. And I remember like watching her 24/7, I think that they had on the network, and they're talking about how they met, and it was just mad cute because they had like a little high school crush on each other. Like, he thought she was fine and vice versa. And like the way he broke the ice was just complimenting her makeup like a chivalrous man that he is. And she was gushy. She was gushy all over it. You know, it all started with something like that because he didn't know what else to say to her because she was so fucking beautiful. And like,
Right.
she's just this magnificent, like, Amazonic creature because she's just gorgeous in the face. And then she has this amazing fit physique, and she's so classy and intelligent. She comes from a long lineage of black excellence. If you like watch her documentary, and like they're like a perfect this combination, you know. And he has his own lineage too. Like, I know he has a whole like military background, and
Yep.
he's very educated himself. They're like this the perfect couple. They're so wholesome. They're so healthy, at least from what I see. And it just makes me smile anytime I see any pictures of them together. It's just so cute. I just love the
Mm.
energy, and it's just nice to see that presented on TV as like a representation of black love, because I feel like often at times like we always get presented in the most ratchet of ways.
Mm.
Always in a ratchet way. It's such a fresh breath of air from like watching stuff like Blueface and Krishan, because I always feel like we get. I mean,
Too
I
much of
don't
them.
mean to use them. It's too much of them, but I feel like you get that same caricature all the time, and
Yeah.
it'd be so nice to see healthy black love, and that's what you get out of Bianca and Montez, and it's so authentic. So I'm happy to see it. I definitely will be watching it. I've been hyping them as my favorite wrestling couple for years now. Like, I put them above Beyonce and Jay-Z. Fight me on it. Fight
Ooh,
me on
ooh.
it. But I like
That's a hot.
them more than Beyonce and Jay-Z. Okay? Montez ain't never hurt Bianca. Okay? He never hurt Bianca. As a matter of fact, he took her to a Beyonce concert for her birthday and surprised her. I love them. I'm obsessed with them. I stand them, and I hope my relationship is just like their relationship. I just love them. They just he scrubs her back, and vice versa. But I think even in the trailer, it was mad cute. 'Cause I think he said like he's paying for a fourth of the house. Like, obviously
The fourth of the
insinuating that
bills.
his
Yeah.
yeah, a fourth of the bills. Obviously, Bianca's the breadwinner, but like he just supports her. Like, she's just
Right.
that girl, and he's just a supporting husband figure. I just love it. I'm just obsessed with it. I'm standing. I'm just oozing over here. But Jordan, what do you think about it?
I'm just, to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, like with the whole relationship goes, I think we can all aspire to have a relationship similar to theirs, right? Me with my fiance, who I live with in Los Angeles, and Mo with her boyfriend,
Shout out to her.
who is in New York, because, it's two separate relationships. I feel like somebody needs to know that. Um, Now, as it pertains to Bianca and Tez, first of all, well deserved. When we talk about the company and we talk about WWE, we cannot mention two better brand ambassadors than Bianca Belair and Montez Ford. In addition to their long lineage of Black excellence that they both come from, I think it's also important to note that when we hear a lot, all this stuff has been happening in wrestling with all the backstage stuff and people saying stuff on camera and people acting up and acting out and people leaking reports. We don't hear anything about Bianca. We don't hear anything about Montez. And it's very, very clear that these are admirable people who are great at what they do. And it's just great to see them be platformed at the way that they deserve. They deserve all of these opportunities. So I'm just really, really excited to see them being elevated and platformed the way that I know that they deserve to be. Man, I'm looking forward to the story arc of Montez Ford in this show. I think this is going to be a great way for the audience to connect with Montez because I feel like we're able to see his charisma on screen as a part of the Street Profits. But I feel like this is going to be an opportunity to know his story. And I feel like this is going to pay dividends for him in the long run when he eventually goes solo and eventually goes for a world heavyweight title or a WWE title because I believe he's a single star. But I'm very, very excited about this show. I'm very, very excited about Montez and Bianca doing their own thing. And I'm just super duper happy for them and that they're getting this spotlight. So, I'm happy for them. But that's really all I had to say about that. But we want to know how y'all feel. Loving WWE premiering on Hulu February 2nd. Let us know how you feel about it in the comments below. But we are moving on. And finally, we can do something that is not WWE related. Whoo, Jesus, because I feel like it's a very WWE heavy show. It was announced this past week. All Elite Wrestling is bringing back the rankings. Now, for those of you who have been AEW fans from day one, you guys know that rankings were something that was a part of the sports-centric presentation of AEW that was supposed to make it distinct from WWE. They were doing the rankings for a pretty long time. They moved away from the rankings for a little bit for reasons I don't know why. But now they're getting back into it. How do you feel about AEW bringing back the rankings?
I feel like he only did it because he kind of like cornered himself like 2 weeks ago when he was trying to flame Ginger Mahal and then he was trying to use logic base to explain why his show makes sense and WWE doesn't make sense. And then people called him out and then now it's just like, oh shit, yeah, I did used to have a ranking shit. So let me just go bring it back. That's all I got out of that.
I'm weak.
That's all I gotta say on it. I was just like, you can't fight for your company in that way and now not actually have the ranking system to prove that your show's consistently logical. I'm just saying.
I mean, hey, listen, here's my thing. I think over the past, especially 2 to 3 months, we've been super critical of AEW. I know I have, but I think it's a couple of things to note. Number one, I do not hate AEW. I don't think we don't hate AEW.
I don't
We
hate
want
it. I just
AEW
hate
to
Tony Khan.
succeed. We want AEW to succeed because when AEW succeeds, the entire wrestling organization, the entire wrestling world succeeds because that means it's another place for the girls and the guys to get jobs, and we want people to be paid and employed. With that being said, I am all for leaning into the things that make you unique because that's what being a brand is all about, right? Being a company is all about. It's about doing the things that made you unique in the first place. And I feel like part of the reason why AEW was so popular was because wins and losses mattered. That was something that was kind of rolled out when AEW was kind of first debuted and this ranking system was first debuted. So I am really, really excited about this ranking system coming back. I think that they are just doing things that have kind of gotten them to the dance. Between this, they just came off of the Continental Classic, and we know AEW. If AEW knows how to do one thing, it's how to rank and how to have a tournament. So I'm very, very happy that they are leaning into the things that make them successful. But we want to know how you guys feel about AEW bringing back them rankings, them 1 to 5s. Let us know in the comments below about how you feel about that. But we're moving on because this Saturday is the Royal Rumble match. So many surprises, so many things in store. And once
Pop
again,
out to the
our 316
space.
pop out to the 316 space at Culture 316 on Twitter. I'm not calling it X, I'm calling it Twitter. Pop out to Twitter 15 minutes before showtime. You don't want to miss it. But we got some predictions. All right, we're going to start from the bottom of this card because it's only 4 matches, I think. It's only 4 matches, right? Number 1, we're going to start with the fatal 4-way match for the for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. We got LA Knight versus AJ Styles versus Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns. Who do we have?
I don't see Roman losing the belt till Mania. As much as I want, hey, nothing you could say to win.
He doesn't even have a name, just a theme song. Oh,
Yay!
and it wasn't even his most recent one. It wasn't even his most recent
It's not even
one.
the one he
He said
likes.
it was not even. It wasn't even about the voices in his head. It was just Evolution Randy. That's.
With
I'm gonna go with Roman
the
Reigns.
glitter falling down.
Yo, the glitter. Uh, uh, um, what was it? The glitter fireworks. Them joints was tough. I'm not gonna lie. They need to bring those back. But
That
first
is
of all,
badass.
before I give my prediction, I probably already did. But before I really dive into my prediction, can we just commend the job that Nick Aldis has done as the on-screen SmackDown general manager? You want to talk about standing on business? This man is the poster child for standing on business. Paul Heyman came out there and said, "My client doesn't want to sign this contract." He said, "I bet." Well, we got 3 participants, and if nobody signs this contract, it'll just be a triple threat for the vacant WWE Universal title. I'm like, you better stand.
Ooh.
He said that that boy got some hardcore country in him. If you know, you know. But I love Nick Aldis, but I do think that Roman Reigns is going to win the title. I see him going to WrestleMania with this title. Moving on, United States Championship, Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens. Who do we have?
Logan Paul. Logan Paul. I feel like
Same.
Logan Paul is someone that the WWE fancies so much that like I also don't see him losing it for a while because he's someone where you could place him with really like anybody and it's gonna be a mania match. Like he's very talented. So yeah, I'm gonna say Logan Paul.
I'm gonna go with Logan Paul too. Also, fun thing, somebody suggested on the internet that Logan Paul, Grayson Waller, and Austin Theory be a faction, and I'm not against it. Not against
The
it.
army of douches, honestly, it works.
AOD, not AOP, AOD. But
I like it. We're going with it.
AOD, we're going with that. Now, moving on, Women's Royal Rumble match. Now, I'm letting y'all know right now, I feel like this is the most anticipated Rumble match out of the two. Matter of fact, I can't even say that because the build for the men's Rumble match has been so good, as well as
Yeah.
the women's, that there is one doesn't outweigh the other, but there are, I feel like, going to be some heavy, heavy surprises in this one. I want to know not just who your pick is, surprise return. Who do you think is going to return to WWE at the Royal Rumble?
I think we're going to see returns and debuts because we have yet to see Jade Cargill in action. And I feel like if you really wanted to showcase something she could do that's simple, because she's still learning, like she did
Mm-hmm.
wrestle in AEW, but she's still learning. And I feel like if you want to showcase her, even if she gets thrown out, you could have her come out, have her do some big girl moves, and then have 3 people try to like throw her out. And then it doesn't hurt her because it's like, well, it took 3 people to like jump her and get her out. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Jade
Mm-hmm.
Cargill's definitely coming. I feel like it would make sense to see some NXT faces that has been down there for a while, even if they do get tossed out. So I mean it could be a debut, cannot be a debut. Like some faces that I just feel like that they're pretty much high on. Cora J got injured, otherwise I feel like she'd be in there. Hope
Mm.
she recovers, by the way. That sucked for her. Um I feel like Roxanne already popped up. I would love to see Kiana. I would love to see Kiana pop up. I love her so much. She's so good. I'm very surprised they wouldn't have already had Nikita in there just because of the
Mm.
way she looks being thrown in there. But I feel like you could see a few NXT faces. Carmella just gave birth not too long ago, so I don't think they're gonna have her come back. No, she's fired. She's fired. My bad. Alexa Bliss gave birth.
Carmella?
She's not fired. I thought Carmella got released.
I don't think
I was
so.
thinking
I don't think so.
I
Don't
I
quote me
thought
on
she
it. I
got
just don't think so.
released. Yeah, I thought she got released and then she gave birth. I know Alexa Bliss, she's still employed, but she also gave birth. 'Cause I was thinking about like returns, but and then I'm thinking about old faces. I know they mentioned Michelle's coming. That already was spoiled. And I'm not mad. A lot of people are hating on Michelle coming. I'm like, bro, Michelle looks great. She
She does.
wrestles just as good as before. And to be honest, I would love to see her like actually like have a run the same way Trish and Lita did because like again, she always was a very good talker. She was a very good champion to me. I loved her in a faction, and I feel like she does a little thing every single year for the Rumble, and it's just fun. Fun, fun,
Mm-hmm.
fun. I don't know what other legends you would have besides having Trish and Lita pop up and the same old, same old. Um, I don't know if Melina could get her knees straight for once, that'd be great. Um, I would like to see Melina because we only saw her for 5 seconds. We were robbed. But the return that I'm eyeballing, I don't care if I'm delusional. I'm going to be delusional till Saturday. Okay, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Mercedes, put on your best wig. Glue it down. Glue it the fuck down. And I'm gonna need you to pull up. I've been dehydrated. I've been sick to my stomach since you left. Yes, my water goddamn dehydrated Mercedes. Okay? Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me and come back. Come back and have a little stare down with Bailey before she wins. I answered your
That'd be a
question.
nice moment. So I'm gonna go with this. Jesus, I'm gonna go with this. So as far as people coming up from NXT, definitely see Roxanne popping out. Cora Jade is injured, so I don't see her popping out, but I definitely see Lash Legend, perhaps. Um, but yeah, those are the two like NXT folk. Blair Davenport. Now, as far as returns, Mercedes obviously is ideal, right? I would love for Mercedes to come back. The woman that I think is going to for sure make a return to WWE is Trinity. Trinity just finished up
I just forgot. Sorry.
Trinity just, you're good. I was about to say, I don't know what was behind you. But Trinity just finished up with TNA. She just dropped the Knockouts World title to Jordan Grace. And apparently she's been WWE bound for a little bit now that TNA officials are aware of that. I think we're going to see Jade. But I know for sure, I feel like we're going to see Trinity. Now, my pick for the Rumble, I think I think that Bailey, well, I'm not gonna give up your pick. I think Bailey's gonna win. I think Bailey's gonna win the Rumble. I would love to see her and Io at Mania, and I would love to kind of see that tension in Damage Control kind of ensue. What were we gonna say?
No, I wasn't gonna say anything. So I agree. Like I didn't say why I wanted Bailey, but you're explaining it already. So keep going.
But yeah, that's my women's pick. But now on to the men's Royal Rumble. I don't think that there's going to be any surprise returns or debuts. I think we kind of already know who's involved. However, the build has been so crazy for this. I don't know if we're going to see Drew, if we're going to see Cody, if we're going to see CM Punk. I mean, we know they're going to be in the Rumble. I don't know if they're going to win. But Mo, I want to know your pick first. Since I went first on my women's pick, I want to know your men's pick.
I actually went first for the women. But honestly, I feel like they're gonna give it to Punk. Because they got reparations to pay that man back. And I just feel like what better way than to give him the Rumble and let him consult with them afterwards on how he wants to be booked from now until Mania. And pretty much give him what he wants. If you want to keep this man here and not, provoke him to want to fight other people or other bosses, push people into monitors. But I'm just saying, I think that Punk would be a very fun pick to win the Rumble. The promos would be great, and if not, I mean, you said Cody. I mean, I would love to give Cody something. But Cody already won last year, if I'm not mistaken, right? I don't.
Cody won last year. Cody won last year for sure.
He won last year. The excitement won't be as big if he won again this year. I feel like part of the Rumble and having a winner and selecting a winner is choosing someone that is really gonna get the crowd like excited. So I think Bailey winning won't get the crowd like super over the moon, but I feel like getting CM Punk to win will get the crowd over the moon. Like that's gonna be like that moment where they're gonna have pictures, screenshots, clips, and all that stuff, reels that are gonna be posted all
Mm-hmm.
across the board. People will not stop sharing it. Like, yo, they've got CM Punk back and he won the Royal Rumble. Who would have freaking thought? Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think that it makes sense to go with him, but I love the idea that for once you like it's like, oh well, it could go to Punk, but it also could go to Cody because that makes sense. It could go to Drew because it also makes sense. Like I love that because it's been a minute since we actually had like a good shakeup and it wasn't so painfully obvious. But I'm standing 10 toes down that they're giving it to Punk mainly because they're trying to keep him happy.
I can feel that. However, I was locked in on the possibility of CM Punk being the Royal Rumble winner, but after the segment that happened on Monday night, I think Cody and Punk at Mania is likely. I don't know. I think Cody and Punk at Mania is likely. I could see one eliminating one and then the other like assisting eliminating the other. But my pick for the Rumble is Gunter. I think
I forgot about that one.
that
Well, I didn't forget
I
about him, but
think
yeah.
yeah. I mean, in the context of like who can win the Rumble, it was like you were just like, oh well, he's gonna be in it, but I don't think he's gonna win it. Last year, it came down to Cody and Gunter, and I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on Gunter because it's like, oh, he's the Intercontinental Champion, but this segment that they had on Monday, it kind of pointed at the possibility of a Seth Gunter match at Mania. Because of his injury, we don't know the timetable of his return. We don't know how healthy Seth is going to be. But let's just hypothetically say that Seth is still injured after a month. He wants to go to Mania, right? Who is the most realistic guy that can squash Seth Rollins? Gunter. I feel like he's been so powerful and so over as the Intercontinental Champion that if you put Seth and Gunter in a match that isn't super long and Gunter just dominates him so that Seth can pack it up, get healed, I can believe you with Gunter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that
But
makes
that's my
sense.
pick. I'm going to have to go with Gunter as the winner of the 2024
Gunther needs
Men's
a big
Rumble.
boy belt.
He does. He does. But let us know in the comments how you feel. Who are your predictions? Who do you think is going to go on to win the Royal Rumble? Let us know in the comments below. But that concludes our show for today. Thank y'all so much for tuning in and tapping in. Once again, 316 Space this Saturday, 15 minutes before showtime. Be sure to be there. Hit us up on Twitter at Culture316 to join the space. But thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week. Did you